Next step to this drawing is going to be the dimensions, center marks, dimensions, and kind of clean it up a little bit. You can see I got my polar array done. I started trimming, kind of cleaning it up. I need to do a little bit better job, I think, with the center marks. You'll notice in the packet, it's got the nice center marks that are kind of curved. We'll see if we can do a little bit better job with that. The center mark tool won't work because they're going to give you like a straight center mark, and then it won't be curved like it is here in the packet. So one way you can do that is, what I did is I still have these lines in there, which are my 30-degree lines to help me locate those centers. And I switched these two lines to the center mark, or the center layer, I should say. And what I can do is just, and I still have this circle in there, that big circle that I originally started with, which was the 4.5 diameter. So I have my 4.5 diameter circle on center layer, and I have my 30-degree angled lines. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of trim these ones up a little bit. So I'm just going to, instead of trimming, I'm just going to kind of drag them because they don't need to be this long. So it's a little bit better. However, the center mark is not quite in the middle, so I'm going to drag that a little bit that way, maybe down just a hair, being very careful that I don't, screw up the angle. So make sure when you're doing that, you have extension O-snap turned on. That'll help you keep the line straight. You don't want to go and dimension that and it's no longer 30. See, I can go like this and that. Now I'm no longer at the correct angle. So be very careful when you drag it down that you're not changing the angle or dragging it up. So this part's a little tricky. You just got to kind of play around with it. Like that's not enough. There we go. That's not bad. And then what I can do actually is I can take this big circle now, and I'm actually going to trim it. I only want like a little section of it, and I'll polar array it. So I'm going to do a TR enter. Let's say I'll keep this, and I'll keep this. Hit enter, and I'm going to click this part of the circle. So I just trimmed that big 4.5 inch diameter circle. I just trimmed all of it except for this little section of it. So now what I can do is, and it looks like I accidentally trimmed that out of there. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to use my mirror tool, and I'm going to mirror that back over to the other side. Not sure what happened there, and no, I do not want to erase the source object. So now I got that piece back in there. So my center marks look pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is select everything. And again, do your best with the center marks. If you can't get them perfect, try to make them look as close as you can. I'm going to click these lines. I'm going to delete this. If you don't have the perfect cross in the middle, that's okay. All right, so I'm going to select those. I'm going to polar array. Instead of doing that same thing on the rest of it, the other 6 circles, let's just polar array. So I'm going to click polar array, specify my center point, and I want it set to 4, and then hit enter a couple of times, and now I have that center mark on the rest of the circles. A couple other things I need to do is, I finish up my dimensions basically. I'm going to go back here. Let's turn off the center or the construction layer to see where we're at here. It's looking pretty good. I need to put a big center mark. I'm going to go annotate, center mark. I'm going to go right there so I get a nice center mark in the middle of the entire part. I'm going to go back to home, switch this back to dimension layer. Actually, there's one other center line I need, which is this 45, which from here, or I could just go connect it to that point because I'll need that to help me dimension. So when I go back to dimension layer and use an angular, I can click on something here. So from here to there, it's going to be 45 degrees. And then I'm just going to kind of go around and, put all my dimensions on here now. So I have some diameters. I have the 4.5 diameter here. I have the 6-inch diameter here. For the keyway, you need to use aligned. Use the aligned dimension for that. since these are not linear, so they're kind of going off at an angle, 0.25, and then another aligned for the 0.5. I'll need to use Q leader for the half diameter 8 holes, so QL enter. And I'm going to click on about right there. We'll go up to here, click there. Remember 0.125 is the size, and we're going to type in 1/2. I can do %% to get the diameter symbol, and then 8 holes, hit enter twice. I can double click that, and I can drag. We'll go, I guess we'll put it all in one line. I have a few more angular dimensions I need to get in. I have from here to here is going to be 30. Actually, it would be, let's see, we'll go here. One other thing too, when I polar arrayed the center marks, I actually need to explode those now, because right now it's all one. So I want to go back to home, select the polar array, and then use my explode tool here. So now they're back to being individual lines. And also probably when I did the 6 diameter, it gave me a second center mark. But if I delete it, it's going to delete the 6. So I can also polar array that too, or explode it, I should say. Let's click the 6, hit enter, and I can delete some of these center marks. I got too many center marks on here now. And then same thing happened when I did the 4.5. So let's click that one. I'm going to explode. So again, this is just kind of cleaning up. See how I had multiple center marks on there, and it was actually covering up kind of my nice one that I originally did. So again, to delete the ones I were covering up, I had to explode the dimension first. Then I'm able to delete the center mark. And then from here, I got a few angulars. I have from here to here is going to be 30. From here to here is also going to be 30. And I'll try to line them up as best you can. I believe I have a 30-degree dimension from here to there. And then a 15 from here to here. So again, these are all angular. Now, basically, when it's done, it'll look something like this. And we'll set this one up on, I have to open up my CAD borders here really quick. For some reason, this drawing is not on CAD borders. We're going to set this up on ANSI A, I believe ANSI A portrait. Let's take a look and see how that'll fit, though. So paste. So I'm going to go ANSI A portrait. I'm going to double click in my viewport. Make sure you set it to 1:1 scale. And yeah, it should fit in there nice. Double click to get out of the viewport. And there's my finished polar array drawing. Make sure you fill in your title block. Again, if something doesn't fit, actually that one fits nice. This is drawing number 3. Fill in your date, your scale, course, and the rest of the information. And again, make sure you're saving to your Google Drive. So I'm going to do a save as. So good. My Google Drive is here. My drive, here's my CAD 2 folder. If for some reason the Google Drive was not showing up in AutoCAD, then you have to type here to search. Type in drive file stream and load your Google Drive.